Until now, we have been talking mostly about liquid pressure. What are the laws of liquid pressure? How a liquid column exerts pressure? What is the reason for placing water tanks at a greater height, and so on. But there is another pressure that we are facing at all moments of time. That is the atmospheric pressure. But because it is due to the gaseous air molecules which we cannot see with our naked eye, we do not feel it. But that air pressure, also known as atmospheric pressure, is present all the times. Even that I am speaking right now, a tremendous amount of force or pressure is acting over my entire body right now. And that is because we live under a blanket of these gases which we call the atmosphere. So if this is our earth, I mean the surface of the earth, the ground on which we stand, on which we walk, then surrounding the earth there is something which is known as the atmosphere. You probably have studied it in the lower classes that in earth we have these three spheres: the lithosphere, which is the land; hydrosphere, which is basically the water bodies, the oceans and seas, and then comes the gases in the atmosphere together, which forms the biosphere. Anyway, so this is the atmosphere, and the atmosphere, it roughly extends to a altitude of 300 kilometers. Exact altitude is very difficult to say because near the outer layers, the layers of our atmosphere, it merges into the outer space. There is kind of a continuous merging taking place in the upper layers. So we cannot exactly say that this is the distinct boundary where the atmosphere ends. Rather, the boundary is pretty diffused. But compared to the radius or diameter of the earth, the radius of the height of the atmosphere is nothing. When our atmosphere is only 300 kilometers, our earth has a radius of 6400 kilometers. So if you see that it is only 3 by 64th of the radius of the earth. So atmosphere is pretty thin. It contains a mixture of gases, one of which is the oxygen which we breathe. But this is all gas molecules. There are these 300 kilometers of gaseous molecules, and gas is also a fluid above us. So quite obviously we always are under a pressure. It's like if you stand here, just above your head there is a 300 kilometer tall layer of air, which is the atmosphere, and all of that is exerting a pressure on you as per the formula of height into density into gravity. And what is this pressure? The pressure that we feel is approximately equal to 1.01 into 10 to the power 5 Pascal. So if I write it down completely, it's like 101, and then there are some digits like say 32, I guess, 0 Pascal. So it's around 1,300,000 pascals, which basically means every meter square of our body experiences a force of 1,300,000 newtons. That is this tremendous atmospheric pressure acting on our body. But if this tremendous atmospheric pressure is always acting on our body, why don't we feel it? We don't feel like something is crushing against our skin or our body. Why don't we feel it? The reason is our blood circulation. The circulatory system, as you have studied in biology, it travels or transfers and transmits the blood to all the parts of the body. And there is also something known as blood pressure. You will find that doctors often measure the blood pressure of patients who are sick or who are ill. This blood pressure, it's such a wonder of nature that this blood pressure is exactly equal in magnitude to this atmospheric pressure. As a result, at every time there is a pressure which is acting from outside on our body, which is the atmospheric pressure, and then there is a pressure which is acting from inside of our body, which is the blood pressure, and together they cancel each other. As a result, neither do we feel this atmospheric pressure nor do we feel the blood pressure inside. So that's I don't know if it's a coincidence or it is just how nature works, but it's a beautiful wonder. And somewhere here at around a height of about 100 kilometers, this region of the atmosphere, this 100-kilometer boundary, it has got a special name known as the Kármán line. Beyond this Kármán line, the atmosphere becomes mostly diffuse. There is almost no any air molecules or gases that are present. They become very low in density. So that is known as the Kármán line. Now how can we prove that this atmospheric pressure exists? We will shortly move into two experiments about that. But before that, let us talk about the consequences of atmospheric pressure. One of the consequences, we often do this. Suppose you are drinking cold drinks with a straw. So what do? You put your mouth here at the end of the straw and you suck in. You suck in the air. When you do that, what happens? The air that's present in the straw that enters your mouth and a vacuum is created in this region. But there is the atmospheric pressure acting on the free surface of the cold drink or the liquid that you are drinking. That pressure acting on the surface forces it to move up the straw into our mouth. That's one of the application of the atmospheric pressure. The other application is that atmospheric pressure, P, it decreases with altitude. So if I am here at the surface of the earth and I say there is a mountain here and I move to the top of the mountain which is at some height above the surface of the earth, then the atmospheric pressure at this side, if that is P1 and the pressure here is P2, P1 is less than that of P2. Atmospheric pressure decreases with altitude. This is the reason that if you do trekking at very high altitude or if you do mountaineering, you will often find that your noses start bleeding. That is because the fine capillaries inside our nose, they are still providing that same blood pressure that they were providing here at the surface of the earth from inside. But now, so suppose if this is your skin, there is the blood pressure acting from this side and there is the atmospheric pressure acting from outside. On the ground level here, both of them, they balance each other. But when you move up to some altitude, the atmospheric pressure decreases. As a result, the blood pressure increases, due to which the capillaries burst and blood flow occurs. Another example or consequence of atmospheric pressure is the astronauts who go to space. Astronauts who go to space, you will find that they wear special suits. Specially designed suits are made for the astronauts. What's the reason? Space is almost entirely empty, so it's vacuum. So atmospheric pressure is zero in space. Pressure in space is zero. But there is this tremendous blood pressure of 1.01 into 10 to the power 5 pascals acting from outside, from inside our body towards the outside. So if the astronauts don't take any protection, what will happen is, the moment they travel into space, due to the immense pressure, the bodies will simply burst. Because there is this great pressure inside our body, our bodies will burst. We discussed about sea divers, that if they travel deep into sea without a suit, what will happen? Due to the tremendous pressure, the body will get crushed, because there the outside pressure is greater than the inside pressure. And in this case, because the outside pressure in space is zero, the pressure inside our body is greater, so the bodies will burst. So these are certain consequences of atmospheric pressure. Now, how do we know that atmospheric pressure is true? Is there any experiment that we can do right here at home to demonstrate this? Well, you can try this at your home. Take a piece of cardboard. A piece of cardboard. Generally of a bit sturdy material. Take a glass. It can be a glass which is made of steel or made of the normal glass, whatever. And you fill it with water, not up to the entire brim, up to a certain height. Then what you do, you place the cardboard on top of the glass. Then you invert the glass. So the cardboard is like this and you have inverted the glass. So what is happening now? The water will try to come out from the glass. So the water will be exerting a pressure on the cardboard. So naturally, if you remove your hand from below the cardboard, you expect that the cardboard will fall off and this water will flow out. But no. Why? Why will it not happen? There is this air, the atmosphere all around, and that atmosphere will exert a pressure like this on the cardboard. Atmospheric pressure. So whatever is the weight of the water column acting downward, that will be balanced by this atmospheric pressure acting from outward. As a result, even after you remove your hand, you will find magically that the cardboard is able to hold the water. So is it true? Let us check. So I have made up this arrangement. So this is my glass filled with water. I haven't filled it to the brim, as I said, half water, and I have taken this piece of cardboard. So the first thing that I am going to do is place this cardboard over the glass. Done. Next, as I said, I will invert it. When inverting, as you saw, there will be a little bit leakage of water, which is alright, because there is certain human errors when I am inverting in the process. But make sure that after you have inverted, you don't let any air leak from the glass. The moment you let air leak from the glass, what will happen is atmospheric pressure inside the glass and outside the glass will balance each other. As a result, the cardboard will fall. So make it completely tight, completely sealed. Alright. I am forcing the glass like this on my palm so that it's completely set. Now I will do the experiment. I am taking this risk because if the cardboard moves away, the room is going to get spilled. But I have faith in the laws of physics, so let's see, it should work. Yeah, it works. Atmospheric pressure exists and laws of physics, well, they are true.